Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hi.
Doug gave me this weird recommendation, and it's very
hmm
rare that I get a recommendation for a game where I've just flat out never heard of it before.
Oh, really?
Uh,
I didn't know you. Yeah.
no, I literally had no clue what this was. I think once I loaded up, it looked vaguely familiar, like I saw a trailer
Yeah.
at one point, but I had no clue going into this. And
Yeah.
that game is a short hike.
Yes.
So, small little indie game on
hmm
PC,
Yep.
which I don't get into PC gaming too much because my computer is old and horrible. But this one
And this
actually runs on
thing
my
luckily
PC,
runs on a toaster.
so no matter what, if you've got a computer, you can probably play this. But
Yeah.
yeah, this game's just kind of this one of those games where it's just you just got this very basic goal, and
hmm
that's hey, get up to the top of this mountain and try and call somebody on your cell phone,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much where the game leaves you,
Yeah.
and it's completely open from there.
Yeah. I really, really liked a short hike. It's very, very laid back. It's very chill. Like you're saying, you just have this one goal, and there's just a lot of little people you meet along the way. You can decide whether or not you want to help them or not, or you can keep going. The reason I really want to talk about this game, though, is it kind of came at like a really kind of good time. So I live in the Boston area, and we got hit pretty hard with like COVID stuff. And basically, because this one biotech industry became this biotech conference became sort of a hotspot, we kept hearing just within our industry and towns around us, because of that conference, we kept hearing all these other hits of like positive COVID stuff. So my office has been shut down. A lot of kind of things are going down crazy here in Boston in general. Like they're shutting down restaurants, they're shutting everything down. They shut down schools, I think, for like 3 weeks.
Yep.
And this game just kind of came at like the perfect time.
Yeah.
I think I was on day 3 of staying inside. I think in the past 4 days, I spent maybe an hour outside. It's been intense. It's actually been like super intense. And like,
Oh
so this
yeah.
game comes along, which is just like the most chill out, nothing happens kind of game. And I don't know, it just like, it really, really struck me because I think a lot of times people see games like a form of escapism. And I never really felt that kind of escapism except for like maybe like once or twice. I just enjoy playing games. It's a way for me to relax. But this is definitely one of the first times like I played a game where I really felt that escapism, where it's just like, in this little world, there's this little story going on and nothing bad is happening. In this little 2-hour universe, there is nothing bad happening. There's these little tasks that people are doing. Everybody's trying their best. And at the end, I like how it concluded. It was just very light conclusion. It's not like a big, like, holy crap story moment. It's just a nice little story moment.
Yep.
Nice little conversations. And I am stuck in a city apartment, and it is nice to pretend like I can go camping.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
conflict is my cell phone doesn't get reception here.
Yeah.
Top of the
Yeah.
mountain
Yeah.
it does. That's the entire conflict. That's the entire thing. And it's just you working your way up and talking to people as you go. And
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's really chill. It's just wandering around this island. And I think this can probably point out the way that we play games, but the game took me 55 minutes, a little less than an hour. I think it took you,
Yeah.
it took you a few.
I think it's 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I just wanted to spend as much time as I could in that one little world. I was
and
just
again,
like,
I think
yeah.
that perspective that you're taking of being locked in there, where the area I'm at is, we're just now getting into all of the schools are closed, don't go out to eat.
yeah,
We're
you're
just
more in the
getting
you're more in the
those things.
Midwest area, so you haven't
Yeah,
really been
so
hit with the yeah.
we're getting there. We're a few days behind, but it is weird because I had that same thought of like, even just we're on like day 2 here of like, don't leave your house, and I had that same thought of like, it'd be nice to go camping or just go for a walk, like. I guess I could. I don't know. It's still kind of cold, so I can't even really.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you
it's
kind of
well,
played some
what's
of that.
social distancing? Like if I'm walking around, I like run to somebody, just like try to like step really far away from her or something.
Six
It's been really
feet,
wild.
6 feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you're going through, you meet these people. I thought this was funny too. At the end, you kind of get like a real recap of like, oh, what'd you do today?
Yeah.
And I think mine was like, oh, I played a game with some people and I learned how to climb a rock wall. Okay, I'm gonna go take a nap now. And I was like, oh, that's probably indicative of how I played this game.
Yeah. I think you kind of like, it's like, that was funny. It's like you had to like, you're like, get your goal is to get to the mountain. And then
So I got to
my
that
goal
mountain.
was just like, not to do anything. My goal was not to think about work, not to think about all the fires that we're putting out. My goal was to spend as much time in this dumb little, it's not even dumb, it's cute. It's cute, and the dialogue's amazing. The dialogue's really fun.
The dialogue's so good. It very much feels like you're having these conversations. It's not one of those, it's one of those two where it's like, clearly you've had some interaction with these people, so it's just like oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm going good. Oh, did you do this? Yep, cool. All right, see ya. And it's just, you can never get that like canned dialogue of like, oh, my name is blah blah blah. I live on this island, and I have done this for many many years. Like, what's up? How's it going? Ah, cool. You wanna get me some seashells? I could use some. No, okay, up to you.
It's like the lightest version of Night in the Woods. Like Night in the Woods is like, let's have natural conversations and talk about some heavy stuff, and you're gonna relate a little too hard to this game. And this one's just like, let's have natural. It's like, honestly, it is so good at capturing that sort of campground experience where you're like wandering around that guy you've been in a tent next to for 2 days. It's like, well, hey, that's Bill. So hey, Bill, how you doing? Sort of thing.
I don't know much about you, but you're here, and and you get that feeling of like, and there's just like signs going like, oh, this is this trail, and just like naturally you kind of go like, oh. That can't be too far. Let's walk down that way for a minute, which is that same feeling you get like when you're camping or when you're out hiking. You're like, well, it says it's outlook point, and I can kind of see that's not that far. Let's go.
Let's go check it out. It's so funny because the island isn't even that mysterious. There's not there's nothing. There's not some plot mystery going. There's not some major like society going on this plot. It's just an island where people camp, and there's some people doing stuff, just hanging around camping or
nothing
doing
malicious.
Things.
Nothing mystical, nothing. We're just hitting a beach ball with some sticks.
That's honestly one of my favorite scenes. If somebody, I think there's no excuse not to pick it up. It's free on the Epic Game Store right now. Stickball has like one of my favorite scenes I think I've ever done. I just love. I don't want to ruin it. Stickball's good. If you find Stickball,
it's on like the back part of the island, kind of in the corner on the beach. It's definitely one of those games where I kind of got to the top, and again, like I play games going, my goal is this, I'm going to do this, okay, cool, let's go, and I kind of even got to the top and went, all right, well, that's maybe I probably should have gone and checked out that lighthouse. So there were a couple of things where it's like, I can go over there, it's like, but I think I'm close to the top, like let's just go. So there's kind of a cool progression mechanic that I liked where you get these golden feathers. And
the golden feather is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like, and it's initially introduced, and you're just like, what do I need a golden? Because it was introduced to me at least when you go and talk to this person, like, if you want to learn how to climb a rock wall, you gotta go to golden feather.
Golden feather.
I don't. Okay, and this would have been like the third person. He's like, why don't you go collect shells for me? If you could bring me this. So I was like, okay, whatever, just another one. And then I go and like, eventually realize like, oh, you need this golden feather. So I'm like, oh, okay, that was kind of a cool way to introduce it because it gets introduced just as another side quest. So I went back and did it, and then but as you go, these things become more and more available. So every time you get one, you can basically double jump one more time with the golden feather, or you can climb up a wall. Either way, and then they kind of deplete as you go, but. It's just a really cool progression mechanic that just seemed so natural to fit. Where there's just some of these laying around. You can buy them from the visitor center. There's a kid scalping them at one point who's he bought all mine. He's like, and you have this really weird conversation with him, which seems again very natural because the dialogue so well. Where you're like, dude, these were $40 like back there. He's like, yeah. How many they got? And you're like, they don't have any more. It's like,
it is a cool mechanic because like you can keep stacking them. So it's like the thing that you're getting with more and more of these things is more mobility. And there's like definitely like a requirement of like, I don't know how many, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't want to spoil it anyway, but you can go well beyond that requirement if you want because of all the golden feathers lying around. I think I had a lot of them by the end and I could do lots of cool stuff.
to give you a perspective versus a lot, I think I was around 10.
That's a lot.
Okay. I wasn't sure what a lot meant. Okay. Anyway, just curious, but even that, like, even getting into that mechanic, the first time you go to the visitor center, you buy one, and the first thing he says, "Oh, do you want another one?" And my first thought was, no, I don't want to pay for another one. Like, I have one. I'm gonna go climb this stupid rock wall, and then I'll be done with these. And then I did it and went, oh, if I get it, So again, it's just that natural sense of discovery is really good in this game. The other mechanic I want to talk about really quick. Not necessarily spoilers, but at one point you get to like the colder part, which you can assume where that is.
Sure.
but as you get up there, your feathers start to freeze because they're supposed to be like feathers. So
Yeah.
once you use them, they get frozen because you've used it. So you kind of like expose it to the cold. And it's this really cool management of like, how far can I get? Okay, let's go back. Let's restart. Because once you get to a heated spot, your feathers all fall out. So you kind of almost have to take like two paths. So there's one point towards the end where it was like, okay, I clearly can't do this. So, all right, well, I'll go back. I'll see if I can find one more feather. Found a different way and then ended up right back. Was like, oh, that was the point I was just trying to climb up.
It's
cool. Game. I beat
it's
you.
Like it isn't. It's an open world, which is like kind of crazy. It's like an open world indie game with a very interesting, fun open world that you can kind of exploit in certain ways that like you wouldn't. I haven't played many games like this open of a level. That's just like it's just the one island and it's just really really open and it's fun. And
it doesn't have those weird like because I feel like most open world games have that very gated off sense. Where it's like, ugh, like this is clearly just okay. I need to go get the thing. And when I get the thing, like, oh, then my world's even more open. And then I get this one felt because you're introduced to that golden feather right away. It's just like, oh yeah, you can learn how to climb with this. You can learn how to jump higher with this. That's all the gating off there is just you get to a point where like, oh man, I can't climb up that yet. And every now and then you'll see other characters who are like, oh man, it's a big climb. Good luck. Yeah. And you're like, okay, all right. Well, now I guess I gotta go find one. But it doesn't have that. And even those, again, you can kind of find some different paths around. If you go around the mountain and come back and jump off of things, you can kind of come back around. But it never has that gated off feel. It always has that, like, let's just keep going. Like, oh, okay. Like, oh, yeah, you're right. I probably can't climb that. That probably does take somebody who's more experienced than me. All right, we'll go this way instead.
And there's always like an alternate, and the alternate path never, it always feels like you're making a decision like, okay, I can go find more, or I can take this alternate path or just wander around. And the wandering around is like, it feels really good because you'll just come upon things and you're like, oh, I was expecting.
Always things.
There's always something to come upon. And I really like that. That's why I really like the exploration because you always feel like you're coming upon something. Like my goal is to just go to this one place, but actually I ran like 3 or 4 other interesting things along the way. This game's only also like 2 hours. I feel like we've been talking for most of this game.
I do. Like, I think we're at, what are we at? Like now, like, yeah, we're at like 12 minutes. So, this was about 20% of my playthrough.
Go play this game.
Yeah, for sure. It's fantastic. By the time you're listening to this, it's probably not free on the Epic Game Store anymore. But I think it was only just a few bucks. I think it was maybe a $5 or $10 game. It definitely wasn't expensive. If my PC can run it, there's a real good chance yours can. So, just a cool game to check out. One of those cool, like, oh, I got an hour or two. Let's check this thing out. So,
and a good time to escape the craziness.
I say, if you're stuck inside, it's a good way to go. I'm gonna pretend like I'm outside for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's a nice little vacation. Mental vacation, I guess.
There you go. But we are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. You can subscribe to us wherever you're listening, and we will see you later.
Bye.